Till arrived in Money, Mississippi on August 21, 1955. On August 24, he and cousin Curtis Jones skipped church where Wright was preaching, joining some local boys as they went to Bryant's grocery and meat market to buy candy. The teenagers were children of sharecroppers and had been picking cotton all day. The market was owned by a white couple, 24-year-old Roy Bryant and his 21-year-old wife Carolyn, and mostly catered to the local sharecropper population. Carolyn was alone in the store that day. Her sister-in-law was in the rear of the store watching children. Jones left Till with the other boys while Jones played checkers across the street. According to Jones, the other boys reported that Till had a photograph of an integrated class at the school he attended in Chicago, and Till bragged to the boys that the white children in the picture were his friends. He pointed to a white girl in the picture, or referred to a picture of a white girl that had come with his new wallet, and said she was his girlfriend. One or more of the local boys dared Till to speak to Bryant. The facts of what took place in the store are still disputed, but according to several versions, including allegations from some of the kids standing outside the store when Till walked in, Till may have wolf whistled at Bryant. A newspaper account following his disappearance stated that Till sometimes whistled to alleviate his stuttering. His speech was sometimes unclear. His mother said he had particular difficulty with pronouncing B sounds, and may have whistled to overcome problems asking for bubble gum. According to other stories, Till may have grabbed Bryant's hand and asked her for a date, or said bye, baby, as he left the store, or you needn't be afraid of me, baby, I been with white women before. Bryant testified during the murder trial that Till had made sexual advances and asked her for a date. In her testimony, Bryant alleged that Till grabbed her hand while she was stocking candy and said, "How about a date, baby?" She said that after she freed herself from his grasp, the young man followed her to the cash register, grabbed her waist and said, "What's the matter, baby? Can't you take it?" Bryant then allegedly freed herself, and Till told her, "You need not be afraid of me, baby," used one unprintable word and said, "I been with white women before." Bryant also alleged that one of Till's companions came into the store, grabbed him by the arm and ordered him to leave. Till's cousin, Simeon Wright, writing about the incident decades later, challenged Carolyn Bryant's account. Entering the store less than a minute after Till was left inside alone with Bryant, Wright saw no inappropriate behavior and heard no lecherous conversation. Wright said Till paid for his items and we left the store together. The FBI also noted in their 2006 investigation of the incident that a second anonymous source, who was confirmed to have been in the store at the same time as Till and his cousin, backed this claim as well. In any event, Bryant was so alarmed she ran outside to a car to retrieve a pistol from under the seat. Upon seeing her do this, the teenagers left immediately. It was also acknowledged that while Bryant was running to her car, Till whistled. However, it is disputed whether Till whistled towards Carolyn or towards a checkers game that was occurring just across the street. One of the other boys ran across the street to tell Curtis Jones what happened. When the older man with whom Jones was playing checkers heard the story, he urged the boys to leave quickly, fearing violence. Bryant told others of the events at the store, and the story spread quickly. Jones and Till declined to tell Mose Wright, fearing they would get in trouble. Till said he wanted to return home to Chicago. Roy Bryant was on an extended trip hauling shrimp to Texas and did not return home until August 27. When Roy Bryant was told of what had happened, he aggressively questioned several young black men who entered the store. That evening, Bryant, with a black man named J.W. Washington, approached a young black man walking along a road. Bryant ordered Washington to seize the young man, put him in the back of a pickup truck, and took him to be identified by a companion of Carolyn's who had witnessed the episode with Till. Friends or parents vouched for the young men in Bryant's store, and Carolyn's companion denied that the young man Bryant and Washington seized was the one who had accosted her. Somehow, Bryant learned that the young man in the incident was from Chicago and was staying with Mose Wright. Several witnesses overheard Bryant and his 36-year-old half-brother John William J.W. Millam discussing taking Till from his house. In the early morning hours between 2:00 a.m. and 3:30 am on August 28, 1955, Roy Bryant, Millam, and another man, who may have been black, drove to Mose Wright's house. Millam was armed with a pistol and a flashlight. He asked Wright if he had 3 boys in the house from Chicago. Till shared a bed with another cousin. There were 8 people in the small 2-bedroom cabin. Millam asked Wright to take them to the nigger who did the talking. When they asked Till if it was him, he replied, "Yeah," for which they threatened to shoot him and told him to get dressed. The men threatened to kill Wright if he reported what he had seen. Till's great-aunt offered the men money, but they did not respond. They put Till in the back of a pickup truck and drove to a barn at the Clint Jordan plantation in Drew. Till was pistol-whipped and placed in the bed of the pickup truck again and covered with a tarpaulin. Throughout the course of the night, Bryant, Millam, and witnesses recall their being in several locations with Till. According to some witnesses, they took Till to a shed behind Millam's home in the nearby town of Glendora, where they beat him again and tried to decide what to do. Witnesses recall between 2 and 4 white men and 2 and 4 black men who were either in or surrounding the pickup truck where Till was seated. Others passed by Millam's shed to the sounds of someone being beaten. Accounts differ as to when Till was shot, either in Millam's shed or by the Tallahatchie River. The group drove with him in the truck to Bryant's store, where several people noticed blood pooling in the truck bed. Bryant explained he killed a deer, and in one instance showed the body to a black man who questioned him, saying that's what happens to smart niggers. In an interview with William Bradford Huey published in Look magazine in 1956, Bryant and Millam said they intended to beat Till and throw him off an embankment into the river to frighten him. They told Huey that while they were beating Till, however, he called them bastards, declared he was as good as they, and in the past had sexual encounters with white women. They put Till in the back of their truck, drove to a cotton gin to take a 70-pound, 32 kilograms, fan the only time they admitted to being worried, thinking that by this time in early daylight they would be spotted and accused of stealing, and drove for several miles along the river looking for a place to dispose of Till. They shot him by the river and weighted his body with the fan. Mose Wright stayed on his front porch for 20 minutes waiting for Till to return. He did not go back to bed. He and another man went into money, got gasoline, and drove around trying to find Till. Unsuccessful, they returned home by 8:00 a.m. After hearing from Wright that he would not call the police because he feared for his life, Curtis Jones placed a call to the Leffler County Sheriff and another to his mother in Chicago. Distraught, she called Mamie Till Bradley. Wright and his wife also drove to Sumner, where Elizabeth Wright's brother contacted the sheriff. Bryant and Milam were questioned by Leffler County Sheriff George Smith. They admitted they had taken the boy from his great-uncle's yard but claimed they had released him the same night in front of Bryant's store. Bryant and Milam were arrested for kidnapping. Word got out that Till was missing, and soon Medgar Evers, Mississippi State Field Secretary for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, and Amzie Moore, head of the Bolivar County chapter, became involved, disguising themselves as cotton pickers and going into the cotton fields in search of any information that might help find Till. 3 days after his abduction, Till's swollen and disfigured body was found by 2 boys fishing in the Tallahatchie River. His head was very badly damaged. He had been shot above the right ear, an eye was dislodged from the socket. There was evidence that he had been beaten on the back and the hips, and his body weighted to the fan blade, which was fastened around his neck with barbed wire. He was nude, but wearing a silver ring with the initials LT and May 25, 1943 carved in it. Confusion about Till's whereabouts and a positive identification of the body retrieved from the river compounded issues in the case that eventually influenced the trial. Hodding Carter in the Delta Democrat-Times, a local Mississippi newspaper, reported that Till may have been hidden by his relatives or perhaps returned to Chicago for his safety. The body's face was unrecognizable due to trauma and having been submerged in water. Mose Wright was called to the river and identified Till. The silver ring Till wore was removed and returned to Wright, and further passed to the district attorney. Stories from witnesses, both black and white, conflict about whether the ring was on Till's body and who knew he had worn it previously. Although racially motivated murders had occurred throughout the South for decades, the circumstances surrounding Emmett Till grew beyond the details of a 14-year-old boy who had unknowingly defied a severe social caste system. Till's murder brought considerations about segregation, law enforcement, relations between the North and South, the social status quo in Mississippi, the NAACP, white citizens' councils, and the Cold War, all of which were played out in a drama staged in newspapers all over the U.S. and abroad. When Till went missing, a 3-paragraph story was printed in the Greenwood Commonwealth and quickly picked up by other Mississippi newspapers. They reported on his death when the body was found, and the next day, when a picture of his mother had taken the previous Christmas showing them smiling together appeared in the Jackson Daily News and Vicksburg Evening Post, editorials and letters to the editor were printed expressing shame at the people who had caused Till's death. One read, "Now is the time for every citizen who loves the state of Mississippi to stand up and be counted before hoodlum white trash brings us to destruction." The letter said that Negroes were not the downfall of Mississippi society, but whites like those in white citizens' councils that condoned violence.